Hare Krishna, I welcome you all to another session of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Thank you so much for joining. We will get started. Anmol, can you start with the prayers?
Sure, Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Bhakti-Adi-Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Bhakti Gaura Bhakta-Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Anmol. Okay, so we have covered a lot of verses. Anyone would like to pick and choose the verses that we have covered in the past?
Mataji, this is Krishna Chaitanya.
Yes, Krishna Chaitanya.
Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatim.
Very good, Krishna Chaitanya. Very nice.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I do 8.14? This is Jamuna.
Hare Krishna, Jamuna. So nice to hear your voice. Yes.
Okay. Ananyacheta satatam yo mam smarati nityasa tasyaham sulabha partha nityayukta yogina. In the
Very
chant.
nice. Mm-hmm.
For one who always remembers me without devotion, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional.
Very good, Jamuna. Very nice.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Anshu. I would like to do 8.15.
Yes, Anshu.
Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam shashvatam napyuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. Thank you, Mataji.
Nice. Wonderful. Very nice.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Jamuna. Can I do 8.15?
Yes.
Mamupeta punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. In the translation. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection.
Very good. Very nice. Anyone else would like to try?
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Anmol.
Yes, Anmol.
Can I do 8.16?
Yeah, yes, why not?
Abrahma bhuvanaloka punararvati norjana mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
I'm listening to it. So that is the verse we're going to do today. Thank you so much for reciting it.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Jamuna. Can I do 8.16?
Yes.
Abrahma bhuvanaloka punar arvartino arjuna mamupeta tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Anyone else? Okay. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Apareyam.
Apareyam.
Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam shashvatam. I forgot the other two lines.
Napnuvanti mahatmanaha. That's right. Napnuvanti.
Oh, Mati, you're talking to me?
Oh, who was the one who said Mamupetya?
Mataji, I think he was unmuted and he was talking. Vrinda wants to say.
Oh yes, go ahead.
Apareyam.
Apareyamidasanya Prakatim Viddhire Para Shiva Bhuta Mahapavaho Edam Dharate Jagat. Thank you, Mataji. Are you there?
Thank you very much, Vrinda. I am there. Thank you so much. Yes. Anyone else? Thank you all so much for chanting so nicely. Very nice. All of you have remembered many of these verses. So let's continue with our study. And today we're going to do 8.16. I know many of you chanted the verse already, but still we'll follow the format and we'll do the verse as per our regular method. So repeat after me. Abrahma bhuvana loka.
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 Punaravartino Arjuna.
Punaravartino Arjuna.
Punaravartino Arjuna.
Punaravartino Arjuna.
Punaravartino Arjuna.
Punaravartino Arjuna.
Mamupetya tu kaunteya.
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 Punarjanma na vidyate.
Punarjanma na vidyate.
Punarjanma na vidyate. Punarjanma na vidyate. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna.
Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino.
Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna.
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 Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Mamupetya tu kaunteya
Vidyate.
Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna. Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna. Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna. Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Abrahma bhuvana punaravartino Arjuna. Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna. Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Abrahma
bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna. Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Mataji,
Yes.
can I do 8.15?
Oh yes. Who's this?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry, I joined late.
It's okay. Who wanted to do 8 point? Okay, go ahead.
Mamupetya punarjanma dukkalayam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha.
Very good, that's right.
Thank you, Mataji.
So now let's look at some keywords. Okay, what is Janma?
Birth.
Birth.
Who is Kaunteya?
Son of
Arjuna.
Arjuna, yeah.
Very nice. Loka?
Planet.
Planet.
Brahmaloka?
Brahma's planet.
Okay, Bhuloka?
Earth.
Very nice, very nice. So let's figure out the meaning of this. It says, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest. Which is the highest planet in the material?
Earth.
The abode of Brahma. It's also called as Satyaloka. His planet is the highest. Okay, so from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest. Down to the lowest is Patala. And then there are further hellish planets down. All are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Okay. So this is what Krishna is telling, O son of Kunti. So anywhere you go in this material world, from the topmost planet to the lowest, you have to come again and again. Meaning you just have to keep taking birth again and again. But if you attain the spiritual world, then it is a place of never returning. Okay, it's a place where you never return. Okay? Now, so in our previous session, what did we see? We saw, this verse. What is that? Mamupetya punarjanma. That is the verse that all of you chanted. Almost everybody chanted that verse. So we saw in the previous verse that this material world is not a very happy place. It's dukhalayama shashvatam, and we're just going around in cycles like this giant wheel. We saw this example that we like to travel everywhere based on our desires and the activities that we do. So we are traveling in all these material worlds. We want to go everywhere. So we're just going in cycles up to the higher planetary system, sometimes to the lower planetary system, sometimes in human species, sometimes in animal species. So like that, we're just rotating in this world. That is what we saw.
Sometimes the animal/human.
Yeah, sometimes animal/human. Very nice. Humanoid. Yeah. Yeah, there are different species like that in other universes as well. Yes, animal/human species. So like that, so many species and so many planets. We have just been going all the way up, down, and this is going on and on and on. And we also saw the journey of Gopakumar. So Gopakumar, he was a very interesting character. He wanted to explore the different planets, and then he went from one place to the other, and he was never satisfied anywhere. And finally, he reached the supreme abode, which is beyond the spiritual realm, and he went to the abode of Krishna, which is also called as Goloka Vrindavan, and then he found ultimate satisfaction. We saw the journey of Gopakumar all the way to Goloka in our previous class. And then we also saw the point that Krishna was making in the previous class, that Krishna said, after attaining me, the great souls, they never want to go back to the temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. And at that time, we saw the example of a world traveler. So when one goes on a long journey to different places, initially it's fun, it's very nice. But then after 10, 12 days, he just wants to go back home, sit down on his couch, eat homemade food. So that is what a person yearns for. So similarly...
Yeah, also you said that we can't, if we drink too much salt water, we can die. And
Yes, exactly. So all that we want is fresh water, right? So you see the girl here, she's just yearning for some fresh water because she's surrounded by water everywhere, but there's not a drop to drink from the ocean. So
also the pool, it has fresh water, but they add chemicals in it.
Chemicals, yes, they have chlorine and all that they add to it. Very true. So she can't drink that water. Yes. So this material world is like that. It's full of ocean water. But if we want fresh water, that is what ultimately gives us relief, right? So to get fresh water, one goes back to the spiritual world. And that is the highest perfection. So those are the examples. And of course, we saw many more examples. I'm not going through all of that. This is just for a quick revision. Okay, we went through several other examples in the previous class. Okay, so like this, we are going from the higher planetary system to the lower planetary system to the middle planetary system. Like this, we are going up and down, just like how a wind carries dust. So have you seen a windy day? How many of you have seen a very, very windy day? Been out on a windy day?
Me.
Me.
So yes. So do you see fine particles of sand or dust that is being carried around by wind?
Yeah, kind of.
So it goes from one place to the other, right? It's never, it stays in the ground for some time. Then when the wind comes, it just picks up the particle and it goes somewhere else. It stays there for a while. Then again it moves on. So like that, just like how the wind is carrying these particles based on the karma and our desires, we are going from one place to the other in this material realm itself. Okay?
Also, when we're talking about like wind, if you put a fan, like if you have a fan and paper or something, it just flies away. Also, if you put a fan close to you and put high speed, it's going to hurt your face.
Oh, yes, that's so true. It's going to hurt your face, 100%. Yes, very well said. Very nice. So, you see all these planetary systems here. These are the 14 planetary systems, and we are somewhere here. We are in the middle. Where are we? We are here.
It says the abode of human beings and other mortals.
Yes, that is the central world, right? That's called as Bhu Mandala. And in that, in one small planet, we are stuck here. So wherever we go, we may think that this place is not so comfortable. If I go here, I'm going to be happy. But then even there, actually, though the luxuries are higher there, the standard of living is much higher and the lifespan is higher, still, actually, nobody is happy there as well. So that is something that we saw in great detail. So
Mataji, slide, why does it say it says the abode of demons twice, and the second one, why does it say Lord Shiva resides there?
There is a form of Lord Shiva. So there is a form of Lord Shiva that resides in this particular place. It is called as Vitala. It's called as Vitala. Okay, that planetary system is called as Vitala. There is a form of Lord Shiva who resides there to give his association to the devotees of Lord Shiva who are present there. Okay, you will see that, for example, Bali Maharaj, you see this here, right?
Yeah.
You see this. So, see who resides there. Vamanadev resides there. So, in different planetary systems, you see different forms of the Lord are also present. For example, you go to Swargaloka, you'll find the form of the Lord called as Upendra. Upendra is the brother of Indra, but actually Upendra is Vamanadev. So like that, and then you go to the abode of Brahma. There is a form of the Lord that is called as Mahapurusha. He's present there to give.
I understand how the Krishna can be in different forms in different places, but you know how Shiva is not a demon? Why does he reside in the abode of demons?
He resides in the abode of demons just to give them his association. That's all. But it is not that he is affected by the place. So he and Uma, both of them, they reside there, and there are a lot of descriptions about Vitala Loka. You probably read that from Bhagavatam once. It's very interesting.
I kind of understand now because Lord Vamana,
even he's there. He's there with Bali, right?
Demon.
Yeah, so he's present there. Yeah, Vamanadev is present there as the doorkeeper.
Oh.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yes. So, wherever you go, even in the abode of Brahma, where the lifespan is so long, Brahma lives for almost 311 trillion years compared to us. So just imagine 311 trillion years. We can't even count. So Brahma
How much
is
is one Brahma for us?
What is it?
One day.
Right. Brahma for us.
1 year, I think.
Oh,
No,
for Brahma, maybe a minute. Minute is 1 year for us. A minute in Brahma is for 1 year for us. Yeah, 6 months to 6 months, yes. Remember the Brahma Vimohan Leela? So Brahma took away the cowherd boys and the calves to the higher planetary system, and he just came back in a moment and a year had passed. Yeah, that's how you connect. So, but however, in the upper planetary systems like Swargaloka, it's just 6 months. So there is some difference. The higher you go, the longer is the time span. Like time expands as you move upwards.
Okay.
So even this abode of Brahma, which is almost like permanent, it appears permanent. Even that place in reality is not permanent. And interesting part is, in Brahmaloka, there are many, many perfected souls and sages. They can go back to the spiritual world at the end of Brahma's lifespan. But again, even there is no guarantee. If one is not serious about his spiritual practice, there is a very good chance that he will fall down even from Brahmaloka. So anything can happen. So this entire material world is uncertain wherever you go. Of course, there is a better chance if you're in Brahmaloka that you will perfect your life, and along with Brahma, you'll be liberated. But again, there is no guarantee. So that is what this verse is saying. That's why this verse speaks even Brahmaloka. You see in the verse, it says, Brahma Bhuvana Loka. Even there is a possibility that you may fall down. Though it is such a wonderful place. It's so perfect. Everybody are sages. Still, there is a chance that mistakes can be done and a person can come back. So this is the nature of this material world. But one who goes to the spiritual world never returns. Because once you go there, you never come back. That is our home, our real home. The Goloka Vrindavan or any of the Vaikuntha planets you go, you never return. So that is the nature of the material world and the spiritual world.
Okay.
Now, see, to do this devotional service to perfect your life, we are talking about devotional service. That's the method to perfect our lives to go to the spiritual world. So without bhakti, which is devotional service, you cannot go to the spiritual world. Okay? There are so many processes of self-realization. There are people who do Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. We saw all this in like a couple of classes before about different practitioners. So there are so many people who are doing all this. But without bhakti, one cannot go back to the spiritual world. So therefore, ultimately, everybody, he has to come to the platform of bhakti. And that is considered the perfection of yoga. So I'll give you one very interesting example. There was one great philosopher, and he was a great, you can say, a very learned person, a scholar, a saint. His name was Madhusudan Saraswati. He was a sannyasi. This happened just a few, maybe 500 years ago, 400, 500 years ago. His name was Madhusudan Saraswati, and he was a great sannyasi, and he was into this practice of Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga means through philosophical, you can say through, they were doing a lot of reading of scriptures and trying to attain the impersonal Brahman. Okay? The impersonal Brahman is the light that comes out from the body of the Lord. So they just like to go there and attain bliss. Okay? Just be happy, just exist. That is what they want to do. So even such a great jnani who didn't choose the path of bhakti initially, you know what he said at the end of his practices? He said that I have been meditating, I've been practicing meditation to see that supreme, I've been meditating, I've been trying to practice meditation to see the transcendental light which is without any qualities. I've been doing that. There are many people who are trying to do that, who are trying to merge into that Jyoti, that impersonal light. But then whenever I close my eyes and go into meditation, I have this deep attraction to that indescribable bluish light which runs about here and there in the sands of the river Kalindi, which is Yamuna. Meaning, even he was attracted by Krishna. So even for him, that impersonal light was actually showing some form. It was showing a bluish light. Imagine, there is no question of bluish light. But then, even Madhusudan Saraswati, his heart was changed so much that he was seeing a bluish light running around in the sands of river Yamuna. So Krishna saw attracted. Ultimately, everybody, they somehow or the other get attracted to Krishna, and then only they perfect their life, in spite of whatever practice they are doing. You read the story of any yogi, anybody, ultimately his desire is to see Krishna. Everywhere, all the stories, it will end up, if he is going to perfect his life, he will definitely have the desire to see Krishna. He will see Krishna and then perfect his life. So that is another point that is mentioned here. Now, regarding this idea that the spirit soul keeps moving around in different planetary systems and this world is a temporary place, but unless one attains perfection and goes to the spiritual world, he doesn't return. For that, there is this wonderful story of Chitraketu. Okay, Chitraketu's story is so big. It is so big. What happened to this king by the name Chitraketu? Once, this Chitraketu, he was a very, 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 very successful, great king. He had many wives, but he didn't have a single child. He just didn't have a single child. So he was praying so that he could have a child somehow. But it so happened that his desires were never fulfilled. But then at one point, sage Angira and sage Narada came to his palace and he told them, I have a very strong desire to have a child, but I've been very unsuccessful. I don't have a baby. Can you please bless me to have a baby? So at that time, Narada and Angira told him, it's okay. You don't have to get entangled so much into these attachments. Don't get too entangled in material life. You're already a king. You have all this palace and all these comforts. But the purpose of life is to perfect self-realization. You should try for a means for self-realization and not get entangled so much. But then still, somehow he had a desire, Chitraketu had a desire. So Angira told him, okay, I can understand that your desire is very strong. So therefore, you will have a child who's both a source of happiness and a source of misery for you. So having said that, very soon there was a baby that was born to the first wife of this king Chitraketu. But it so happened that the other wives became very, very jealous and they gave poison to that little baby. And the baby died. Now, this is a sad story. But then, you know what happened? Chitraketu, the mother, everybody was lamenting. Everybody was lamenting. They were all lamenting, and again Narada Muni and Angira came there. So Chitraketu told Narada Muni, see what has happened. And then they were trying to console him. They were trying to tell him, no, you're getting too entangled. There is no necessity for all this. Don't try to continue your life here. You should be more focused on self-realization, not on all these things. But then Narada Muni was very compassionate. He gave the life back to the child, and the child woke up. The child regained its life. The child came back to life. And the child, interestingly, the child also spoke the same thing to Chitraketu Maharaj, saying that, what is this, my son, my father, why are you doing this? You better concentrate on what is most important in your life, which is self-realization, which is understanding who the Lord is and going back to the spiritual world. Don't get entangled here and don't be here. So when the child also gave the same advice, Chitraketu Maharaj, he realized the importance of actually focusing on spiritual life, and Narada Muni gave him a mantra. So with that mantra, Chitraketu started practicing his devotional service. Okay, so he was practicing so much so that Lord Shankar's son, which is a form of the Lord, he appeared in front of Chitraketu and told Chitraketu, I'm very, very happy with you. You're doing a great job, but you still have more to perfect in your devotional service. You will very soon perfect your devotional service and you will come back to me. So he said that and he went away. Now Chitraketu hadn't perfected his devotional service in that life. So therefore, he had to take another birth. Okay? But this time, Chitraketu, he was not on earth. See, the first birth, Chitraketu, he was on earth. Okay? The second birth, he got in the planet of the Vidyadharas. That is a higher planetary system. So he went to the planet of Vidyadharas and he was a leader of the Vidyadharas. So there was so much opulence there. He had a gorgeous plane. He could move at his will. He had amazing musical skills. He was looking so handsome. He had wonderful associates. It was very, very nice. Okay, so Chitraketu was living there in the planet of the Vidyadharas. And there in that planet, they had all these fancy vimanas. Vimanas meaning flying airplanes. Okay? So very, very fancy ones. Not like the ones that you see like Southwest or United. It's not so simple. You see this picture here. Each airplane will look like a palace. Okay. So this Chitraketu, he owned one of that and he was happily flying from one place to the other. And then he happened to pass through the abode of Lord Shiva. So while he was passing through the abode of Lord Shiva, he was seeing that Lord Shiva was giving a discourse to many sages, keeping Parvati on his lap. So Chitraketu started laughing. He started laughing at Lord Shiva, saying that you are a great renunciant. Why are you keeping Parvati Devi on your lap and giving a discourse on renunciation? And he started laughing. Parvati Mata got very upset. She didn't like that behavior because he cannot talk like that. So though his Lord Shiva and Chitraketu were actually good friends, and Chitraketu had a good rapport with Lord Shiva and he could talk to him freely, still Parvati didn't like that statement that Chitraketu made. So therefore Parvati told him that you are not talking properly, therefore I curse you to become a demon. Now look at it. He has gone to a higher planetary system. Now he is going to fall down to a hellish condition of life. So he is going from one body to the other. And he is falling into different problems. Another hellish condition now. So what is he going to do? At that time, Chitraketu was very learned. See, in his previous life, he had undergone a lot of things. And he got very good advice from Narada. And he had started practicing his devotional service. So though he was in a Vidyadhara body, he continued to practice his devotional service and he made a very beautiful statement. You know what he said? He said, this material world resembles the waves of a constantly flowing river. So imagine, a river is constantly flowing. Therefore, what is curse and what is a favor? They are going from one place to the other. And this motion is there constantly. So what is a curse and what is a favor? What are the heavenly planets and what are hellish planets? What is actually happiness and what is actually distress? Because of these waves flow constantly, none of them, let's go here, none of them is actually has an eternal effect. Nothing is permanent, right? Just like a waves of river, if you see, it just keeps flowing, flowing, flowing. It's not still at any point. Nothing is permanent. So his realization was, sometime back I was Chitraketu. My kingly life was not permanent. Then now I'm a Vidyadhara. My Vidyadhara position is not permanent. And now I'm going to become a demon. And I know even that is not permanent. For a devotee is always happy because in whatever form, wherever he is, he has the opportunity to do his devotional service. So that Vidyadhara now became the most terrorizing demon by the name Vritrasura. And this Vritrasura, finally, he had a fight. He was a great devotee. He was a very great devotee, but he was a demon. And during his final fight with Lord Indra, that time Indra ended up killing him. Even when he was being killed, He thought about the Supreme Lord and he gave a discourse to Indra. He told him, Indra, you're so attached to your body, you're so attached to your position, but you must learn to become a devotee. So he gave a big discourse to Indra and he got killed by Indra thinking about the Lord, and he went back to the spiritual world. Then he never returned. So though he was going around from one planet to the other in different types of bodies, Vritrasura, by the power of devotional service, he could perfect his life and go back to the spiritual world. So no position, no place, no species of life is a permanent factor. The only permanent place is the spiritual world. There's another story, very, very interesting story. So this is about the story of Dhirabuddhi and the Apsara. A very fantastic story this was. So what happened was once Lord Shiva, he was sitting and meditating in his abode. And at that time, he saw a huge bird, very, very big bird, the shadow of a huge bird actually. That bird was flapping and Lord Shiva could see the shadow of that bird. It was as big as a mountain. Okay? So Lord Shiva was very surprised and he looked up and he saw that a black colored swan, you see the swan here? It was completely black. Usually swans are whitish in color, right? They are white in color. But this swan was very, very black. A black colored swan came down, fell at Lord Shiva's lotus feet and gave Shiva some lotus flowers. So Lord Shiva was very surprised. He asked this black colored swan, who are you? Where have you come from? Why are you giving me this lotus flower? Then the swan, he began to tell his story. He said, originally I was pure white as camphor. Anyone has seen camphor in your house? Camphor in your house? Okay. Camphor is very white and crystal white, very, very white. Okay, just think something, you can compare it to a cotton ball or something like that, very white. So I was very white and I was the carrier of Lord Brahma. We all know Brahma rides on a swan. So I was the carrier of Lord Brahma. I was so beautiful. But then it so happened that one day I was flying from one place to the other and I went to a beautiful lake in the region of Surat. Surat is now there in India. It's called Saurashtra. That is the region where this particular lake was. So he went. Okay. So this swan, he was loitering from one place to the other and he was enjoying in this very wonderful lake in Saurashtra that was so fragrant and so beautiful, so captivating, because that lake was covered with so many lotus flowers. So as the swan was enjoying in that lake for some time, it thought, okay, it's time for me to go, and the swan began flying up. But as he was flying up, he flew up on top of some lotuses, and in a few moments, he just dropped down on the land and his feathers turned black. He became completely black. And the swan was shocked. What happened to me? Who did this? How did I become like this? And then he looked around, and from five lotuses, in the center of the five lotuses, suddenly a lady emerged. Okay, you see this lady here? She's emerging out from the lotus. So she just emerged out from the lotus, and then she called out to the swan, and she told the swan, oh swan, don't worry. The reason why you have become like this is because you flew over me, and that was an offense. Therefore, you have become black. The swan was like, who are you? And flying over you, how did that become an offense? So then the lady said, actually, just by I was in the form of 5 lotuses. I had taken the form of 5 different lotuses by my mystic power. Okay, you should hear my story. How I became the 5 lotuses and why I am so powerful. For that, I will tell you my story, she said. Now, a story inside a story. Listen carefully. So this lady said, long time back, I was born as a very nice Brahmin woman, and I was very, very attached to my husband. Okay, I was doing all the services very nicely. But then it so happened that I acquired a small bird that was there, that was roaming around. I got a bird, a myna bird. This is a myna bird. You can see that in the picture. It's called as a myna. So I got a myna bird and I made it my pet. I got very attached to that myna bird. I would keep the myna bird in my house and I would spend all my time with the myna bird. I would feed the myna bird, play with it and enjoy with it, and I completely ignored my household duties. I ignored my husband. I ignored everything that I had to do. So therefore, my husband was very upset with me and he cursed me and he said, if you have this sort of consciousness always about the myna bird, next birth you're going to become a myna. So consequently, in my next birth, I was born as a myna bird. And as a myna bird, I had the opportunity to fly around from one tree to the other, and I got the association of some sages in the forest. What were those sages doing? They were reciting the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So as they were reciting the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, I heard the Bhagavad Gita again and again. I heard Lord Krishna's words, which is so purifying. I understood who Krishna is. And because of hearing, taking their association, I acquired so much good credit that in my next birth, I became an Apsara. Apsara means going to higher planetary system. So you see, first she was on earth, she fell down to a different species, she became a bird, now she became an Apsara. She got a gorgeous, beautiful body, and she was in a celestial realm, meaning she was in a higher planetary system. But then she did a mistake. So what did she do there? From there, once she was again roaming around and she came to this particular lake where the swan had fallen down. So because she could roam around freely from one planet to the other, she came down to the Earth planet, and there when she was roaming, she came to this beautiful lake of lotuses. And there she was bathing and she was not dressed properly. Accidentally, Durvasa Muni came. So Durvasa Muni got very angry with her. Being scared of Durvasa Muni, she transformed herself. In her 2 arms became 2 lotuses, her 2 legs became 2 lotuses, and her body became another lotus. So she took the form of 5 lotuses. And then Durvasa Muni saw, okay, you want to take the form of lotuses and escape? I curse you, for 100 years you're going to be in this form of as lotuses. So like that, as 5 fragrant lotuses, she stayed in that lake. But she had the credit of listening to the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita again and again from the different sages. Therefore, she had so much pious credit that when the fragrance of those 5 lotuses would come, the bees around, thousands of bees would come to take the honey of that lotus. So thousands of bees would get liberated by just the fragrance of her, because she was always thinking about the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. That is the potency of the Bhagavad Gita. So those bees who would come for the honey, they would smell the fragrance and they would go back to the spiritual world. But however, she remained as a lotus for hundreds of years. And then that was the day when she had to get liberated from being a lotus when the swan flew on top of her. So therefore, she told the swan that I am that person. Today is my day of liberation. When you flew over me, that is when I was getting liberated. And as you flew over me, you made an offense to me, meaning you disturbed me and you were disrespectful. Therefore, you got this black body. But I am very compassionate. I will recite the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and you will become good again. You will become normal again. So she began to recite the 10th chapter. No, she didn't recite the 10th. Yeah, she recited the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The swan was very happy. The minute she recited the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, she went back to Vaikuntha. The swan saw this lady going back to the spiritual world. She had perfected her life. And once she went there, she never came back again. She went through all these different species of life, but she went back to the spiritual world, and the swan was a witness. So this black swan immediately collected all the lotus flowers that were there, and he knew what he had to do. After hearing the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he wanted to offer these lotus flowers to the topmost devotee, so that he can get the blessings of the topmost devotee and then continue to perfect his life. So therefore the swan flew all the way to the abode of Lord Shiva, offered him the lotus flowers and told Lord Shiva, this is my story. So therefore please bless me. I need the blessings of a great Vaishnava. That's why I got these lotus flowers and gave it to you. Then Lord Shiva smiled and he said, I accept this as an offering, and immediately the swan got liberated. So this is, wait. The story is not over. The swan got liberated, meaning he got liberated from the black body and he had to take a human body. Okay, so he took the form of a sage, and Lord Shiva kept following him wherever he went, because in that birth he had to tell the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and he began preaching the glories of Bhagavad Gita, influencing many more people. So Lord Shiva was so attracted by him, because wherever he went he was speaking the Bhagavad Gita, and Lord Shiva started following him, and he developed a strong following to this particular sage. This is the story of the glories of the Bhagavad Gita. It is also the story of how you may be transmigrating from one form to the other, from one planet to the other. By the potency of the Lord, by the blessings of a Vaishnava, by hearing about the Lord, one can finally perfect his life and go to the abode of the spiritual world. You see this Vaikuntha plane that has come? One can go to the spiritual world by the blessings of the Lord. Okay, and once you go there, you never return. Okay? So there are so many stories in scripture talking about this point. So any questions? We are over time. Long stories, huh? Okay, so anyone wants to revise the verse?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Apama bhuvana loka punararvartino jana mamapetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate.
Krishna Chaitanya.
Yes.
Brahma bhuvana loka punaravartino arjuna mamapetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate.
Very good.
Advait.
Yes, Advait.
Abhama bhavana loka punaravartino jana mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate.
Very good.
Can I go? This is Jamuna.
Yes, Jamuna.
Abhama bhuvana loka punararvartina arjuna mamupeta tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Very nice, Jamuna. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Mati, this is Krishna, can I say?
Yes, Krishna.
Abrahma bhuvanaloka punaravartino arjuna mamupetyati kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate.
Very good.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I say it?
Yes.
Abrahma bhuvanaloka punaravartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate.
Very nice. Thank you for that. Okay. Anyone else? See Anshu, Krishna, Ankush.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'll practice it and
Yes.
do it next week.
Okay, Anshu. Krishna, Ashutosh, Haridas. What else is there? Advait, Anmol, Jamuna. Yeah. Asra is there? Okay, so then we'll end the call and we'll meet again next week.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Brahma Bhavanaloka Punaravartina Arjuna Mampikasi Gonteya Punarjanmana Vidyate.
Very good, Ashutosh. Okay. So then we'll meet again next week with the next verse. Vancha kalpatarudesha kripa sindhu Vaishnavi Namo Namaha.